I'm sorry, I didn't see you come in. I was just playing Destiny on my PS4. Nowadays, you can play the latest and greatest and most technologically advanced video games right in the comfort of your own home. But back in the day, that wasn't an option. You had to go to a pit of light and noise and chaos now known as the arcade. Nowadays, the golden age of the arcade are over and arcades have fallen in prominence, but it's still important to recognize that arcades are important, and they have been important for a while. They're part of the reason why video games are the way they are today, and they should be celebrated. And so to celebrate it, the other members of Item Box and I have decided to count down our favorite arcade games of all time. I'll tell you mine in a second, right after I beat this Destiny level on the PS4.
Do you like hype? Do you like the 90s? Do you like sci-fi?
Welcome to die.
Just kidding, it's Aliens vs. Predators.
Time to hunt.
This game stars 4 characters, 2 humans, 1 being born in Ninja Girl, and a dude with a massive robot arm! But the true heroes are the Predators! The gameplay is so satisfying. You got combos, specials, weapons, and freaking guns! Yes, the shoulder-mounted gun on the Predator can be shot, and everything will be on fire! Very satisfying, but I gotta say, powerbombing alien scum will fulfill all of your fantasies. There's a couple Segway levels where you're just right on top of some futuristic not now car and you're just shooting aliens. It's pretty awesome. The bosses are also very hype, fighting crazy evil Predator Man, Power Loader, and ending with a huge alien queen fight in space. If you ever get a chance to play this game, do not pass it up, or I'll hunt you down.
You're asking me, a 16-year-old boy growing up in Australia in the 2000s, about arcade games. Looks like I'm gonna have to consult my good friend the Apple App Store.
I have a lot of fond memories of arcades growing up as a kid. After all, it's where I played my very first video game, Frogger. But was it my favorite? I sunk a lot of quarters into games like Metal Slug, Soul Calibur, and Rampage. But the game I loved to play the most? Pinball. Video game? No. Arcade game? Yes. You got controls, reaction time, and an ahead-of-its-time, next-generation, IRL, right-in-front-of-you physics system. I remember playing pinball at an age where I wasn't even tall enough to see the top of a table. Instead, me and my sister would stand on a chair and take control of a flipper each. Aww. I think pinball also helped shape who I was as a gamer growing up. I don't think I ever beat an NES game when I was a kid. The second anything got hard, I just didn't want to play anymore. But pinball triggered a different side of me. Anytime I got in front of a table, I wasn't just trying to beat the aliens. I was trying to get my name on the top score. The arcade environment was always filled with older kids, playing harder games, competing, and talking smack, and even betting quarters so that they could play longer. So I started feeling more confident the more I played around them. I tried harder, got better, and ultimately developed a feeling of confidence in myself, probably for one of the first times at a young age. There are a number of reasons why I am the gamer I am today, but I definitely owe a small piece of it to playing pinball in the arcade.
Pizza power!
Man, oh man. If this isn't the definition of a good arcade game, then I don't know what is. First and foremost, this is a beat-em-up style game featuring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, released in the early 90s. And oh geez, you can just tell how 90s it is.
Cowabunga!
This game would be mostly forgettable if it was designed for a single player in mind, but thank God it's packaged with its extraordinary 4-player co-op. You and 3 of your friends can play as each one of the turtles.
Donatello's the best, he's mine, you better step back!
And lay the smack down on some Foot Clan. As you progress through the game, Shredder eventually has had it up to here with how the turtles are screwing up his plans, I guess. So somehow he sends them back in time. But then they come back through time anyway by warping like Mega Man after beating up some of the series' more recognizable villains, and also through some varying time periods like the Jurassic period, the Wild Wild West, and some really shiny everything is made out of chrome future. The game is super fun to play with friends, and it's probably the best game to be made from the Turtles IP. If you ever find this game in an arcade, or if you can find it on the cheap for the Super Nintendo, I'd highly recommend grabbing some buddies to play it. It's a pizza of a good time.
Pizza time!
Wonderful. Truly inspirational. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Yes, I'm taking a break from video games to catch up on some old classics. But please, make yourself at home. Sit down. I'm sorry. Favorite arcade games? Why, there hasn't been an arcade in Canada for over 600 years. Children in that question, such malarkey. Yes. Although there is a legend that speaks of a single solitary arcade machine, lost and alone in a dusty old hotel lobby. The last hope for a child whose Game Boy has just run out of batteries. 4 gun-toting cowboys, sunset riders we called them, rode into town seeking bounties on only the most dangerous men in the Old West. The legends were true, as this arcade's Rosetta Stone taught us. Riddled with needless difficulty and bullshit boss fights, it was clear we were going to need more quarters. But a single coin will only get you so far, and inevitably, Game Over would find its way back onto the screen, time and time again, as frustration grew. Because if there's one thing to be learned in all of this, it's that Contra got nothing on this shit.
Of course! Angry Birds! It says it right here under the arcade section.
Nace, that's not an arcade game. It's not even close to being an arcade game. Let me get you some education. I know you're still young. Let me show you what a real arcade game looks like, okay?
Outrun! Most arcade games are highly competitive. They're all about winning the most fights, or scoring the most points, or making the most burgers. But Outrun decides to do something entirely different. It's just you and your hot spouse driving along the countryside, listening to some sweet jams. The only thing you're racing is the clock, and most of the game's focus is on seeing the beautiful environments and listening to the awesome music, and while that might seem boring, it ends up being a relaxing exercise in atmosphere and aesthetics that's totally unique and still 100% holds up today. And the game has branching pathways and different environments to see, adding to the replay value significantly. Also, there's occasionally horrific car crashes, so that's a thing that happens. But aside from the occasional traffic collision, Outrun is an entirely unique experience and one of the most relaxing games I've ever played, and as a result, it's on the top of my list of favorite arcade games ever. So yeah.
For those of you that don't know me, I grew up in the middle of nowhere with my Aunt Muriel, my Uncle Eustace, and my dog Courage. There wasn't a whole lot of arcades out there, more creepy bad guys than arcades actually, so I never had a chance to live in the arcade era. In fact, the one arcade game I remember playing was the Simpsons arcade game. I grew up watching The Simpsons and I still watch the show all the time, so I was naturally drawn to the machine covered in all the classic characters. You play as Homer, Marge, Bart, and Lisa in a classic side-scrolling beat-em-up. Waylon Smithers robs a jewel store but runs into Homer and the jewel lands in Maggie's mouth. Smithers takes Maggie and that's the story. You gotta go save her. Although she's probably gonna end up shooting Mr. Burns again. Boom! Spoilers! All the characters have their own weapon to use, and you can even combine characters for a short time. The entire game is full of Simpsons nostalgia, and that's probably one of the main reasons why I love it. Playing with 3 of your friends makes for an amazing time, and I'm so happy that I got to live that experience not only as a kid with my brothers, but also at SGC with some of my best friends. Except when Perry looks away every 5 seconds.
Just in case anyone wondered, my favorite arcade game is Estar, which is a really fun kind of space shooter arcade game. Classic, but really innovative playstyle, so in case you cared. It's a good game. You should check it out.